When you say yes to God, fear will tell you that you will lose, but God wants you to live. Letting go opens the door you could not move on your own. Stay with me for a few minutes, and you will see something that could change everything. The next step will show the door you have been waiting for. The night I finally said yes, nothing in the room moved, but everything inside me did. I could feel a shift and a lightness spreading through my chest as relief came. Before that, there had been a long, heavy no that I had been carrying for years, and it took time to let that go. It starts as a quiet tug in the chest, then fear moves in and gets loud. You wonder what if this costs too much. You worry what if you lose what you love. Playing it safe feels wise, and saying no feels strong, so you wait. You make plans, you ask for more signs, you stall. The fear of loss fights the desire to trust, and you get worn out. You still love God, but you are holding back and you are not saying yes. The signs are easy to miss. You smile politely when you feel pushed to change. You stay up late with a knot in your stomach. You say a careful prayer instead of an honest one. You tell yourself you will obey when it is clear, when it is safe, when the numbers line up. You make lists, you bargain, you scroll to forget. Still, the feeling of being told no sits heavy in your chest. You fear the unknown, so you hold on tighter to what you have. But holding on hurts. Dreams feel dull. Joy comes in small bits, then dries up. You remember stories of courage, but they feel distant. You recall the words, "Do not be afraid, I am with you yet." Your hands do not relax. The cost of obeying seems high, but the cost of delaying keeps growing. What if the real danger is not stepping out, but staying stuck? A simple picture comes to mind. A child at a street corner with a small hand reaching up. That is what trust looks like. It is not about having all the answers. It is about one hand held by a stronger hand. Maybe the first step is smaller than you think. Start with one honest breath. Say, "God, I am afraid, but I want to trust you, not later, now." Name the fear out loud and pick one small yes that fits today. Make the call, send the message, set the alarm. Let go of one small thing you are holding on to, and let the outcome be in His hands. Remember the promise, "Do not be afraid, I am with you," and let that sit with you. You do not need a giant leap, you need a faithful step. When fear rises, breathe again, and say perfect love drives out fear, and then do the next small thing. Your yes does not have to be big to be real. This is how it has often gone. Fishermen cast their nets one morning, and things changed for them. A widow gave the little she had, and the oil kept coming. Peter stepped out of the boat while the wind was still blowing. Courage came as they moved, not before. I have seen it too. When I opened my hand, help met me on the path. Not all at once, but enough for the day. God has a steady way of answering small, hesitant yeses with quiet strength. Today name one fear and bring it into the open. Then say, "Jesus, I trust you with this." Choose one small step and take it before the sun sets. Keep His promise with you as you move forward. Let your no feel lighter, and let your yes begin. It starts in the kitchen at 5 a.m., steam rising from a chipped mug and rain ticking the window. Your chest is tight. You lean on the counter and quietly ask yourself, "What now?" In a few hours, an old promise will find you. You want to trust that God is leading you, but doubt argues loudly. Maybe you misheard. Maybe you are alone in this. You keep scrolling for signs. You make new plans, but nothing settles. Your heart keeps asking for something steadier than your mood or the news. You worry that saying yes will cost too much, and that saying no will wear you down slowly. So you go back and forth, tired, waiting for proof. On the commute, you make a list of reasons to step back. They sound smart and safe, but under each one, there is a small ache that says, "This is not the whole truth." At lunch, you open an old journal and find a line you wrote after a hard year that says, "He carried me." You close the book fast, afraid to let yourself believe it. You try a different fix, you look for more research, and you make more noise. You check your messages again, hoping a new text will replace a steady hand. By afternoon, doubt feels heavy and familiar. It tells you that you made this up, and that real faith would not shake. Your breath gets shallow, your shoulders lift. You tell yourself to wait for a clear sign, and still your fingers reach for control. The room feels dim, and you feel small and invisible. Then a memory just shows up when I least expect it. I remember a Sunday years ago when I heard the story of Abraham standing under a dark sky, counting stars that were not yet there. A simple sentence comes back to me and says, "Fear not, I am with you, and it feels calm and real. You let that line sit. You are not chasing a feeling. You are choosing a focus, not on outcomes, but on the one who promised. You write the words on a receipt, fold it twice, and put it in your pocket. You breathe slowly on the stairwell, and you remember other times when he showed up in small, steady ways. A ride when you had none. A check when rent was due. A friend who stayed. You pick one step for today, a very small one. One call, one email, one prayer. You anchor your yes to his character, not to your nerves. By noon, a friend calls at just the right time, with no plan, just care, and it matters. A verse on a poster matched the note that said, I am with you always. It is not magic or a trick. It is more like steady progress, one step at a time. Peter could feel the wind, but he kept walking and kept his eyes on Jesus. Help meets you when you keep going. The one who began a good work in you has not stopped. Tonight, ask God to repeat one promise you need. Write it down and keep it where you will see it. When doubt comes, say that promise out loud. Then take one small step toward what it says. Let that promise guide you. This is not just a memory. He is still near. I pushed the keys across the kitchen table under a small lamp. My hands hovered open and shook, then went still. I let out a soft breath and a tear fell. Then, strangely, I felt calm and managed a small, steady smile. I felt relieved. Tonight the cost is clear. The plans you made, the comfort you know, even a job title that feels safe. A voice inside asks you to say yes, and you hold on tighter. What if saying yes means losing what you have? What if you give and nothing comes back? You are torn between control and letting go. You want God, but you also want guarantees. You want faith, but you also want to keep the steering wheel. You try to bargain, maybe later, maybe a smaller yes. You start listing reasons that keep you from saying yes. Bills, timing, reputation, what one person thinks. The room feels heavy, the clock seems loud, your coffee is cold. You scroll for a sign and find only more noise. Your chest stays tight and you feel a steady low alarm that does not stop. You run through the worst scenarios, doors closing, friends leaving, plans falling apart. Your pride tells you to keep control and your fear agrees. You remember old hurts and think not again. Still there is also a painful but honest pull toward the truth. You remember a simple line you heard, growing up where your treasure is, your heart will be. Under that memory, a small question appears. What if holding on is what is breaking you? What if the cost is not what you think? What if you lose more by saying no? I keep coming back to a quiet memory of Jesus in a garden saying, not my will. A bird taps the window and then flies away. When I look at the table again, it feels different. Not like a ledger to balance things, but like a place to set down what matters. You breathe. You speak simple, honest words to God, saying, I trust you more than my plan. You ask him to lead you. You choose the next right thing. You draft the email you are afraid to send. You forgive the name you have been avoiding. You set aside the money you were guarding. You take the quieter path at work. Saying yes is quiet, but it is real. Fear starts to soften. Peace comes slowly at first, and then it grows. You remember that taking up your cross every day is not a heavy burden, but a way to walk close with Jesus, one step at a time. You let go of control, and you do not stop caring. Trust is not blind. It sits in a steady hand you can feel. You remember being told to trust God with your whole heart, and your heart answers back. Abraham climbed a hill and found a ram. Fishermen left their nets and found a purpose. Mary said yes and carried hope for others. Today people like you do the same. When you let go of control, doors open you did not even see. It is not always easy, but it is often right and it brings life. Jesus taught that anyone who loses their life for him will find it, and you begin to understand what that means. Tonight, put on the table what is costing you. Write down the 3 things you are holding on to, set them down, breathe, and quietly say yes. Lead me. Do one small act of obedience in the next 24 hours. Keep your hands open. God is gentle with people who are brave. The phone screen glows in the dark kitchen. I whisper that if you want me to move, say something tonight. Only the fridge hums back. I take that as a no and stay still. Much later, I learned the silence had kept me safe. We want a map before we take a step. We want to know the ending before we even begin. In the long pause, fear grows louder. What if I choose wrong? What if I lose everything? So we wait for certainty instead of trusting God. We keep our yes held behind our back. Our chest tightens. Prayer starts to feel like it goes unanswered. The small tug we felt at the start fades as doubt and refusals take over. I keep refreshing my email until my thumb hurts. I spread things out on the table and try every small test I can think of, looking for any sign. I make timelines and then tear them up. I read verses over and over, hoping they will tell me what comes next. I am not sleeping well. I snap at the people I love because if I cannot control the answer, I try to control the room. Shame tells me maybe God speaks to other people and not to me. The house is full of noise podcasts, prayers, plans, and still I feel a hunger none of it fills. I begin to think waiting is wasted time and that nothing will change. When I think that I almost walk away. Certainty feels safer than faith, and I feel stuck and unable to say yes. Before sunrise, I stop trying to prove anything and just sit. A thin line of light touches the sink. A verse comes up and feels like a friend saying, "Wait for the Lord and take heart." What if the yes is to stay still? I put my phone face down and rest my hands on the table. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm here. I choose a small yes. I'll trust you, even though I don't know how it ends. I'll do today's faithful things. Send the kind message, show up at work, take the walk, pray for the person who hurt me. I think of how Elijah met you in a quiet voice, not in the storm. I remember the birds that don't worry and still get fed. In quiet and trust I find strength. Roots grow in the dark before anyone sees green. So I let roots happen in me. The days pass, and they are not empty or steady like before. The ache is still there, but it does not rule me. A door I could not force begins to open slowly at the right time. I can see that the waiting changed my heart and made it able to hold what I asked for. Jesus slept during a storm, and with him peace came before things truly calmed. Other people tell similar stories. The job arrived after they found some peace, not before. The apology came when they stopped rehearsing it. The answer met them as they took steps of obedience. I realized the gift was not a plan, it was presence. Today try a long pause. Sit for 3 minutes with your hands open and your breath slow. Say yes quietly, even here. Write down one small, faithful step and take it. Tell a friend you are waiting with God, not against him. The next yes will find you. Your thumb hovers over the send button. The early light is pale and quiet, and the room feels like it is holding its breath. You know that one small word could change your day. A soft voice inside tells you to say yes and then see what happens. The pull is small, but fear is loud. Your mind makes lists and says, "Not today. I am not ready. What if I fail?" You look for a bigger sign, a safer time, a perfect plan. You scroll, you clean, you pray, and you keep waiting. Your heart wants to move, but your body stays still. You ask God for the whole map, but you get only a lamp for the next step. The delay feels safe, but it steals your peace. The longer you wait, the heavier it feels. Nights get quiet and long. You lie awake, stare at the ceiling, and keep running the same thought through your head. If I had just started. Your coffee goes cold again while you plan the perfect beginning. Prayer feels dry and empty. The words do not seem to reach anything. You keep waiting for a clear sign, but only feel a small, quiet push inside. You want certainty, but you only get a nudge. You want a big miracle, but you forget that things often change only after you start moving. Your phone glows in the dark. Your heart feels dull. You say you trust, but your actions do not. A story from Sunday comes back to you. Peter only learned the water could hold him after he stepped out of the boat. It was one step, not 10, just one. You remember the bit about a mustard seed, how a small amount of faith can lead to a big move. Still your thumb hesitates and the moment passes. Then a quiet thought comes. What if I say a small yes? Not the whole journey, just the next faithful step. I breathe in and breathe out, no drama, only love. Okay, Lord, I say yes. A small yes looks like this. Send a message to make peace. Read the Bible for 5 honest minutes. Walk to your neighbor and say hello. Close the app that takes your joy. Put your name on the list to serve once. Ask for help. Offer help. Pray out loud even if your voice shakes. You do not need to see the end of the road to begin. Scripture can guide your next step. When you act, fear loses its hold. Peace comes in quietly and feels warm. The way forward does not appear all at once. It opens as you take a step. You feel the latch click, the door give way, and the room fills with light. This is how God moves. A boy shared his small lunch, and a crowd was fed. When Mary said yes, hope arrived. Peter took one step, and something impossible happened. I have seen it too, a son calling his father after years, a woman bringing soup and finding a friend, a man applying for one honest job and finding his place. Do not despise small beginnings. True love pushes out fear. God meets us in the first step, and then in the next. Pick one small yes you can do in the next hour. Say it to God now. Tell him you are here and you trust him. Then move before you start overthinking. Send it, knock, pray, begin. Let today be the day. A small yes leads to something bigger. The door is open before she knocks. The hallway smells like rain. On the table is a folder with her name on it, the edges still warm from the printer. She does not know it yet, but today things are about to change. After she says yes to God, a little fear arrives with a list of practical worries. What about rent, food, timing? She tries to hold every detail in her hands. She smiles at church, but on the bus home, her chest is tight. Maybe you know this feeling. You obey, but your mind keeps racing. You plan, you check, you keep refreshing your phone. You want to trust that provision will come, but control feels safer tonight. Pride tells you do not need anyone. The heart answers, please help me, Lord. The tug between them is real. Days stretch and the inbox stays quiet. She keeps adding side work, then more, until her eyes burn. Bills sit on the fridge door, and the kitchen light hums and makes her uneasy. She prays, but she also bargains. She tells God, if you fix this, I will do more. She draws timelines in a notebook, makes spreadsheets, writes scripts for God and for people to follow, and none of it holds. A call drops. A bus leaves early. 2 small jobs vanish in one afternoon. She thinks maybe she heard wrong. Maybe saying yes was foolish. A friend offers help and she smiles, says I am okay, then cries alone in the elevator. At night, she stares at the ceiling and listens for God. The silence is heavy, but not empty. A quiet thought comes, what if the way through is not stronger control but open hands? She breathes slowly and remembers a line she learned years ago, telling her to put God first, and that everything else will follow. Then another phrase comes back to her about an open door being set before her. Her phone buzzes. Help starts to show up in small ways. A message on her phone reschedules an interview for today at noon instead of next week. A neighbor knocks with extra soup, no reason, just care. A small refund arrives for a bill she overpaid months ago. A friend returns money she had forgotten she lent. The bus she needs pulls up the moment she reaches the stop. At the interview, the one question she feared never comes, and instead they ask about a skill she learned serving at church. She accepts coffee, she accepts a ride, she accepts a chance to help with a local project. As she stops trying to control every outcome and simply takes what comes, peace fills the gaps, trust begins to grow. And the line from Proverbs about trusting with all your heart finally makes sense to her. This is not magic. Some doors stay shut. When a door opens, it usually means the timing is right. What she needs for today shows up today. Tomorrow will bring what she needs then. She notices a pattern. Small things keep arriving in a steady way. Each night she begins to write down 3 doors that open for her. A call, a smile, a ride. The list grows and her hands relax. Help is not always big. It is often quiet, kind, close, and it arrives right when she needs it. If you said yes and fear still holds you back, try this. Ask for a clear next step and then follow it. Let go of trying to control the outcome and be willing to accept whatever happens. Pay attention to small, helpful things today. Do the next small thing you can see. Choose to say yes again and notice what changes. It is early and gray, and you are staring at the note on the fridge that says, keep going. Your coffee is cold, the house is quiet. You said yes yesterday and today everything feels still. By sundown, something small will happen. When the first joy fades, the wind picks up. Plans start to slip. A door that once seemed open now sticks. Your inbox is empty. Your chest feels tight. You find yourself asking, did I hear wrong? Did God leave when the music stopped? This is the long stretch. Endurance has to carry faith beyond feelings. Feelings are loud, and doubt pushes hard. Hours pass, A friend cancels. The car will not start. Bills sit on the table and feel heavy. Your prayers feel thin, as if you are talking and no one hears. The memory of the earlier blessing feels distant, like it happened to someone else. You try to drown it out with noise. You scroll through your phone, make new lists, tell yourself you will try harder if things change quickly. The old urge to control returns, soft at first, then sharp. It urges you to take charge, to make things happen, not to wait. Doubt whispers too. Maybe you were naive. Maybe God helps others, but not you. You feel the pain of the silence and the pull to fall back into safe habits. Your heart wants a clear sign, or a voice, or proof. But a small stubborn part of you still leans forward, refusing to give up. Then a memory comes, light but steady, reminding me that faith is not a mood, it is a muscle. It needs daily practice, like bread for each day, not a feast. Peter walked even while the wind still blew. Being still does not mean doing nothing, it means trusting as you move slowly. You say yes again, just a small yes. You breathe and say, "Here I am." You send the message you are afraid to send. You show up for the quiet work. You forgive yourself for the delay. You give thanks for one good thing, even if it is only the warmth of the cup in your hand. You open the Bible and read a short line that meets you. It says those who wait on the Lord find new strength, that you can run the race with endurance, and that trials build patience and joy. You choose obedience over trying to control the outcome, today only, not forever, just for now. You let Jesus set the pace, not your feelings. The room does not fill with light, but a steady peace begins, and you keep walking. Other people have walked this path. Someone who worked as a shepherd talked about being in low places and eating a plain meal at night. Fishermen worked through the night, then waited, and in the morning their nets were full. A young mother held on to words she did not yet understand, and kept going. The help they received was enough for them, and it will be enough for you. Even before night falls, help can arrive quietly. A neighbor offers a ride. Someone calls back kindly, and the bill is not as heavy as you feared. This is not magic. It is people and practical help showing up because you kept saying yes. Pause for a moment, put your hand on your heart, and say yes to yourself again, quietly and honestly. Do one small thing you can do today. Send the message, forgive, use what you have learned, and rest. Let God carry the heavy parts while you keep going. This is the part where faith grows, and this is how that yes becomes stronger. You are standing in the doorway at dawn with your hands full. Your phone lights up with a message, another thank you. A door that used to stay closed is open. The room is bright. That quiet yes you gave has become more than you planned. Now what? When you finally say yes, good things begin to come. Work opens up. A friend comes back. The prayers you whispered feel like they are standing in the room with you. But a new question moves in too. How do you carry good gifts without letting pride grow? People point and say, "Well done." You feel the pull to take the credit, to post the win, to make the harvest look like your achievement. Under the smile, your chest tightens. What if you lose it all if you stop proving yourself? You start counting wins like coins. Every day has to shine. You plan more, sleep less, and keep checking who noticed. Praise tastes sweet, but it fades fast, so you chase the next hit. You talk more about what you did, and less about the gift you were given. You hold on tight to every small win, and your hands get cramped. Old fear comes back in new clothes, telling you to do more, be more, hold on tighter. You compare your life to other people and end up feeling either small or strangely superior, never free. You forget the lean days when one kind word could mean everything. You forget the quiet rules of faith, the simple practice of letting someone else take the praise, giving without showing off, staying humble and honest. The more you cling, the less joy you have. The room that once felt bright now feels crowded. Is this what God meant by harvest? You imagine a branch heavy with grapes and a careful hand pruning it, not to punish, but to keep it alive. And you remember Jesus saying, "Remain in me," and you let that sink in. You breathe, and you wonder what if the harvest is meant to feed people, not to prove anything. Open your hands. Start by naming the giver in your heart and saying the name out loud often. Give back the first and the best as a way of saying thanks. Tell the story so it points to God rather than to your own brand. Celebrate the team who helped. Take a Sabbath so you stop feeling like you have to perform. Each morning ask, who can benefit from this today? Give small, quiet gifts. Teach what you learned. Mentor someone. Tip extra. Invite someone who is lonely to your table. When someone asks how you did, say that grace carried you. Remember Psalm 115 and let the glory go to God rather than to people. You receive freely, so give freely. Let the blessing move through you. And watch what happens. The pressure eases and peace settles back into your body. Joy feels lighter, not smaller. You sleep and the world keeps going because it was not your job to keep everything running. The people around you are fed and warmed. The raise helps a student. A repaired home can welcome one more person. And your small platform turns into a place where others are seen. You stay gentle and God stays close. Humility keeps you open to the next gift. Today name one gift God placed in your hands and say thank you out loud. Then quietly give a piece of it away, not to get credit, but to offer kindness. Ask Jesus who you can serve with this. Keep your hands open and be ready to say yes when the next opportunity comes. Morning light is coming through the kitchen window and the kettle is humming. Your phone is lit with a message you are both afraid to open and hoping will be good, but your hands are steady. You feel calm here right now before you see the answer. We often make our peace depend on results. If the door opens, then we will relax. If the test comes back clear, then we will trust. But results change all the time, and our feelings shift with them. We chase perfect plans and lose the quiet inside. We forget that lasting peace is not a prize at the end. It is a way to keep going even when the road turns. We refresh the inbox again. We read the message again. We replay every word we said in that room. We bargain in prayer without calling it bargaining. We promise to try harder if things go well, and we prepare for the hurt if they do not. Our shoulders go up. Our jaw tightens. We call it wisdom, but it is really just worry. We look for signs and miss the simple next step. We hold on to control and call it taking responsibility, but it leaves us short of breath. Faith starts to feel like a test we must pass instead of support we can count on. Night falls and sleep feels far away. We whisper, "Am I still loved if this does not work? Will I belong if I cannot make it perfect?" The tighter we hold on, the less we notice the steady support that has not moved at all. A small memory comes back, a clear moment I keep returning to. I remember Jesus asleep while we were caught in a storm, and then a quiet whisper came saying, "Come to me, and I will give you rest." Peace is not a plan. Peace is a person, sitting with you in the boat. Move forward with something simple and steady. Open your hands and take one slow breath. Say to God, "Your will, not mine." Ask for only the next step, not the next 10. Take that step with a warm, willing heart. Leave the outcome in God's hands. Let quiet and trust be your strength, as Isaiah said. Let daily bread be enough for today. Listen more than you explain. Do the small, steady things. When fear rises, return to the breath, to open hands, to a simple yes. Then you will notice peace that does not wait for proof. This is how our story goes. Abraham set out without a plan. Mary said yes, even though she did not know what would happen. Peter failed badly, then he looked after people with a softer heart. Food arrived one morning at a time, not all at once. A guide kept leading them to quiet places where they could rest. They had different outcomes, but they felt the same support. Peace stayed with them, and love showed up in their lives. That same peace and care will be there for you too. Right now, take a breath and pause. Relax your jaw and open your hands. Tell yourself, "I am here," and trust the outcome. Ask to be shown the next yes. Pick one small thing you will do today and do only that. Let calm meet you before you get an answer, and let it carry you into what comes next.